I'd like to do tonight Shanter. Shanter is a tale of ghosts and warlocks. And really, people think that Scottish people must have been daft to believe in ghosts and warlocks. But this was the centre of the trade for smuggling. And one of the reasons why we kept these ghosts and warlocks moving around was that it was the best way of keeping the free trade routes around Ayrshire. This was the centre of the trade. The smuggled goods came in from France and, in fact, from Ireland with grain, Isle of Man, Ailsa Craig, and up here. And what better way to keep them away than to invent ghosts and warlocks? When Chapman Billies lead the street, and Ruthie neighbours meet, when market days are weir and late, and folk begin to tack their gait, while we sit boozing at the nappy and getting fou and unca happy, we're thinking of the lang Scots smiles, the waters, mosses, slaps and stiles that lie atween us in their hame, where sits our sulky, sullen dame, gathering her brews like gathering storm, nursing her wrath to keep it warm. This truth fund honest Shanter, is he ye nicht for ear did canter. All dear wham ne'er a tune surpasses for honest men and bonny lasses. But Tam, hadst thou but been so wise as ta'en thy ain wife Kate's advice, she telt the wheel, thou was this kellum, a blethering, blustering, drunken blellum that fae November till October, ye merk it nicht thou wasna sober. That ilka melder with the miller thou drank as lang as thou hadst siller, and every naig was caught a sheehan, the smith and neegat o'er and foon, that at the lady's house, even on Sunday, thou drank with Curtin Jean till Monday. She prophesied that later shin, thou wouldst be found deep drowned in doon, or catch with warlocks in the mirk, by Eloise old haunted kirk. Gentle dames, it gars me greet, to think who money coon so sweet, how money lengthened sage advices, the husband for the wife despises. But to her tale, ye merk it nicht, Tam had got planted, uncorrect, fast by an ingle bleezing finally, with reeman swats that drank divinely. And at his elbow, Shooter Joni, his ancient trusted Ruthie crony, Tam looed him like a very brother. They'd been fou for weeks together. The nicht drave on with sangs and clatter, and aye, the ale was growing better. The landlady and Tam grew gracious, with favours secret, sweet and precious. The shooter told his queerest stories. The landlord's laugh was ready chorus. The storm without mixed rare and rustle. Tam didn't mind the storm a whistle. Care, mad to see a man so happy, even drowned himself among the nappy. As bees flee hame with lades of treasure, the minutes winged their way with pleasure. Kings may be blessed, but Tam was glorious o'er all the ills of life, victorious. But pleasures are like poppy spread. You seize the flower, its bloom is shed, or like the snow fall in the river, a moment white, then melts forever. Or like the borealis rays that flit ere you can pint their place, or like the rainbow's lovely form, vanishing amidst the storm. Nae man can tether time nor tide. The hour approaches. Tam mun ride. That hour, on next black arch, the key stain. That weary hour, Tam mounts his beastin', and sick a nicht he tacks the roadin', as near pair sinner was abroadin'. The wind blew, as it blown its last. The Dublin storm roars in a blast. The speedy gleams the darkness swallowed. Loud, deep, and lang the thunder bellowed. That nicht a child might understand. The deil had business in his hand. Wheel mounted his grey mare Meg, a better never lifted leg. Tam skelp it on through dub and mire, despising wind and rain and fire, whiles hodding fast his good blue bonnet, whiles crooning some old Scots sonnet, whiles glowering round with prudent cares, lest bogles catch him unawares. And by this time, he was crossed the ford, where in the snow the chapman smoored, and past the birks and meikle stane, where drucken chair lay, Breck's neck bane, and through the woods and by the cairn, where hunters fan the murdered bairn, and near the thorn abin the wall, where Mungo's mother hanged us all. Before him Doon pours all his floods, the Dublin storm roars through the woods. The lightnings flash from pole to pole. Near and more down the thunders roll, wind glimmering through the groaning trees. Kirkalloway seemed in a blaze. Through Ilkabore the beams were glancing, and loud resounded mirth and dancing, inspiring bold John Barleycorn. What dangers thou canst make a scorn, wi' tippenny, wi' fear na evil, wi' us qui be, we'll face the devil. The swats say reamed in Tammy's noddle, fair play he cared no deals a boddle, but Maggie stood, rich sair astonished, till by the heel and horn admonished, he ventured forward in the licht. And wow, Tam saw an uncosicht, witches and warlocks in a dance. Nae cotillion, Brent knew for France, but hornpipes, jigs to spies and reels, but life and metal on their heels. At Winnock Bunker in the east, there sat old Nick in shape of beast. A choosy type, black, grim, and large. To gie the music was his charge. He screwed the pipes and gat them skirl till riff and rafters all did dirl. Coffins stood round like open presses that showed the deed in their last dresses. And by some devilish cantrip slicht, each in its call horn held a licht, by which heroic Tam was able to note upon a haly table a murderous banes in gibbetains. 'Twas span lang, wee uncrescent bairns. A thief new cut it for the rape, with his last gasp, his gab did gape. 5 tomahawks with blood red roosted, 5 scimitars with murder crusted, a garter which a babe had strangled, a knife, a father's throat, had mangled, whom his ain son, the life bereft, the grey hairs yet stack to the heft. 3 lawyers' tongues, turned inside out, Willie's seemed like a beggar's clute, and priest's hearts rotten, black as muck, lay stinking vile in every yuck, wi' mair a horrible an offer, which even to name would be unlawful. As Tammy glowered, amazed and curious, the mirth and fun grew fast and furious. The piper loud and louder blew, the dancers quick and quicker flew. They reeled, they set, they crossed, they clicked, till Ilka Carlin swat and reek it, and Custer did it to the work, and Linket at it in their sark. New Tam, oh Tam, had stay been quines, all plump and strapping in their teens. Their sarks, instead of creasy flannin, been snow white 1700 linen. Their breeks of mine, my only pair that gents were plush or get blue hair. I take in for half my hurdies for ye blink of the bonny birdies. But withered beldams, old and droll, like widdy hags would span a foal, louping and flinging in a crummock. A winner didn't turn my stomach. But Tam kent what was what fu brawly. There was ye winsome wench and Wally, that nicht enlisted in the corps long after Kent and Carrick shore, for many a beast did each short and perished many a bonny boat, and shook baith meikle corn and beer, and left the countryside in fear. Her cutty sark, o paisley harn, that is a lassie she had worn, in longitude, though sorely scanty. It was her best, and she was bonty. Ah, little Kent, that reverent granny, that sark, she coughed for her wee nanny with 12 pound scots, 'twas all riches, would ere he graced a dance of witches. But here my muse, her wingman cour, such flicks are for who want her poor to sing who nanny lap and flang. A supple jod she was and strang, and who Tam stood like yin bewitched, and thought his very een enriched, even Satan glowered, and fidged fu fain, and hocht and blew wi' micht and fain. So first ye caper, shin another, Tam tint his reason altogether, and roars out, "Well done, cutty sark!" Oh, in an instant, all was dark. Then scarcely had he Maggie rallied, when out the hellish legion sallied, as bees buzz out with angry fight, when plundering herds assail their bike, as open pussies mortal foes and popsy starts afore their nose, eager runs the market crowd, when catch the thief resounds aloud, so Maggie runs the witches follow, with money and eldritch screech and holler. Ah, Tam, you'll get your fairn. In hell they'll roast you like a hern. In vain thy Kate awaits thy coming. Kate shall be a woeful woman. But do thy speedy utmost, Meg, to make the Keystone the brig. Thereat them thou thy tail may toss, a running stream the Dorney cross. But ere the Keystone she could make, the fainter tail had she to shake, for Nanny, far afore the rest, hard upon noble Maggie pressed, and flew at Tam with fury settle. But little wist she Maggie's mettle. Ye spring brought half her maester hail, and left a hint, her ain grey tail. The carlin clocht her by the rump, and left peer Maggie scarce a stump. Now wha this tale the truth shall read. Ilk man, or mother's son, tak heed, whene'er to drink you're inclined. Or cutty sarks, not too late yet, or cutty sarks run in your mind. Think. Ye may buy your joys our dear. Remember Tam o' Shanter's mare.
Sam. Well done, Sam.